assumed that to be normal in following a career path, an individual with brains or potential, or both, would pursue fame, money, success, or a combination of these. I have with me today 4 people who have chosen to follow a slightly less well-travelled path. Young and successful in what they do, they have inspired thousands of youngsters to dedicate themselves to service rather than the pursuit of worldly achievements. These 4 people work for the Art of Living organisation in various capacities. Let's find out what keeps them motivated. First up, I have someone extremely inspiring and dynamic. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology and has previously worked as a banker. He travels throughout the world teaching high-profile professionals in big corporations the value of a stress-free mind. He's a soccer fan and loves the outdoors. Thank you for joining us today, Christoph. It's a pleasure having you here. Could you tell us a bit about exactly what it is that you do and how you got into it?
Yeah, I'm working since about 10 years for the Art of Living Foundation. I'm a board member of the International Art of Living Foundation, overseeing some of our activities in Europe, and also I'm a trainer in the Art of Living and focusing mainly on leadership seminars for both public and private sector managers in public and private sector. And prior to this, I have been also heading our youth programs.
And perhaps you could tell us what the Art of Living is, briefly?
Oh yeah, the Art of Living. Well, I'm still learning and finding out myself.
Could you give us 2 sentences just so we know what it is?
Well, it's really, I mean, we have a certain amount of years to live here, and I think it's the art of making myself happy and to bring a smile also to other people.
Right. So it's an organisation as well? An organisation or a way of life?
Oh yes, of
both?
course. And the International Art of Living Foundation, it's an NGO, a non-governmental organisation headquartered in India, Bangalore. And we are spread in 150 countries around the globe. About 30 million people have joined hands as volunteers or some small part also as employees. And the organization is standing on 2 legs, we could say. One are the leadership seminars for all segments of society. And actually with the income of that, we are supporting some of our service projects, which we have in about 100 countries around the globe.
Next we have Cirstin. She's from Germany and has a background in international management and marketing. She's lived and worked abroad. She recently resigned from a lucrative job in order to pursue a career of service in the Art of Living. Cirstin, could you tell us a bit more about your experience of the Art of Living and what exactly it is that you do?
Currently, well, I have as a volunteer mainly in PR and communications, helping writing articles, helping promote Art of Living. Of course, we are a non-governmental organization. That means the budget is not the highest. So we all have to work really hard to spread the message of a violence-free and a stress-free world. This is the vision of our founder, Sri Ravi Shankar, who founded the Art of Living Foundation almost 30 years ago.
Next is Camille, who holds qualifications both in drama and business, and whose diverse business interests have ranged from internet advertising, dealing in luxury cosmetics, and gemstones. He loves cooking, sport, and has travelled extensively and lived and worked abroad. He wants to promote Yoga Rave in Europe. Camille, could you tell us what your involvement is in the Art of Living and how you got into it?
I came in Art of Living. A friend told me about the course, actually, a few years ago. So I did the course, and that is my first step into the organization. I really liked it. I really liked the technique that are taught, etc. And then I met the founder of the organization, Sri Ravi Shankar, and really it's like that inspired me a lot. Today some people, they will be very inspired by Maradona. No, not anymore. David Beckham, some football player, and they want to enter into football. Me, I was inspired by Sri, as we call him, and that's why I joined the organization.
And what's your job exactly? What is it that you do?
Yes, so I participate to organization of different events that we conduct. such as youth leadership training and different events we organize, as well as small workshops. Now I have done the training also to lead some of the class, the techniques that are taught. So I'm doing that.
Thank you. And we have someone else who's the life of any room he walks into and claims he loves doing energetic and dynamic things. That's probably why he's planted 9,000 trees all over Hamburg. He's also in charge of the World Youth Forum and is an international youth teacher. And he's only 27. We have another Christoph, who everyone calls Krishi, so we're going to as well, with us today. Krishi, what do you do for the art of living?
Yeah, I'm in charge, as you said already, of the youth programs, especially in Germany. I'm managing the youth programs. And like you were asking also the others how they came to the art of living. So actually I was just in my education, and always from childhood, like Mother Teresa, they were really inspiration for me. So then I forgot about it, and while I was in my education I came across this art of living course, which was really helping me to manage my stress levels, because I was working shift, sometimes night, sometimes morning, sometimes even late afternoon. So it was very, very, stressful. And then I came across this course, and after my education actually I wanted to go to Africa to do some service projects. So, and then I found out, that these techniques and all this, they have also another side of it. Like, of course, like Christoph was saying already, the art of living is standing on two pillars. One is the educational, bringing the breathing techniques, meditation, and the second, out of this, serving the society. So this is how I came to the art of living. And first I was working as a volunteer for 3 years, and since 4 years, I'm employed and taking care of the youth programs.
All right, so you all work for the Art of Living, which is an organisation I understand you can have slightly less committed involvement in. You can work as a volunteer or just do the courses. Each of you, what motivated you to go from perhaps a lifestyle involvement in the Art of Living to working for the organisation? What made you want to leave your corporate jobs or your businesses and become teachers or volunteers or employees? Maybe Christoph, do you want to start?
I'm trying to remember. I think that it was more or less choiceless. I enjoyed it so much, So it was like a dream come true to be able to do what I really loved the whole day. And it continues to feel like that, really. I still remember once when I came to this Badantogast and I worked here, some of my friends thought maybe they had lost me for their life, because it is in the Black Forest far away from Switzerland. So I remember one friend called me and says, "Now what are you doing? How does it feel?" So I was really reflecting, how could I describe? And I said, it feels as if I'm playing the whole day. And it's nice to have that feeling, of course, while taking responsibility.
Kirsten, what motivated you to go from your more corporate world to work for the Art of Living?
Yeah, at one point of time I was working plus volunteering, having Art of Living, and I just didn't have enough time for volunteering. And having both, I also saw something meaningless and something meaningful, which means meaningless was the work I had. And just going for money, for profits, for figures, for the financial reviews. What is it about? For me, I love to work, and I love to work with people, and I love to see smiles on their faces. So there was actually also, with what Christoph just said, no choice, something meaningless and where just nothing is for me, and something where my passion is. So this motivated me really to resign from my job and to give 100% to making people happy around me.
Thank you. Camille, what are you achieving now that you felt you couldn't achieve as a volunteer or as someone who was just involved on a more casual basis?
There is this slogan, once you pop, you can't stop. And somehow that's really my experience. Meaning I joined a program inside Art of Living, which is called Yes We Can, Leadership Training Program for youth. So it was meant for people all over Europe. And somehow I experienced what was to be full-time involved in art of living, and I really like it. Meaning, before, as you said, I was in business, and which is really fun. I like it very much, business, I find it very fun. But that somehow, the service is like another dimension is added to life. So, yes, I continued. After the Yes We Can, I continued to be full-time.
Okay, thank you.
He's doing great. I mean, this year he already he became a trainer, and we had the second edition of Yes We Can this year, and he was training so many young people. So I think wonderful.
Thank you.
But I wanted to say one more thing. Now Cirstin was talking about the meaning, and she was able to leave something which was not so meaningful and doing something which is meaningful. And after 10 years of sticking around, I can say for me, really the meaning is in the attitude. So of course I could say I might perceive it not so meaningful to sit at the bank desk and do a work there. So let me go and help some old people in the next and I say, and suddenly I feel fulfilled and meaningful. But after some years or even some days, I will probably find out that even taking care of old people can become meaningless if I just do it for outer reasons, maybe because I want to again get my salary or because I want to be so meaningful. I think that it is an attitude which can be brought into every action. And so I think to do work as a volunteer is just a chance to experience that glow and that joy. And then the task is to take that into our general responsibility and to maintain it and to cherish it.
Thanks. Just to ask Krishi as well, what motivated you to become a full-time Art of Living employee rather than a volunteer or a lesser involved person?
Actually, it was the other way around. I was a volunteer, and then they asked me if I want to be employed, and I said yes. Because I already saw like what it actually gave to me.
Usually in a corporate role, people are motivated with bonuses or perks. What keeps you all going? What keeps you motivated in your work?
I'm still waiting for the bonus.
Well, that's another way of looking at it. What are the bonuses? Presumably you've all given up company cars and holidays and whatever else it was that you had before.
Actually, I have more company cars now than I used to have before.
Yes.
Work with me, Christoph.
But well, I think to talk, I would not call it motivation really, but inspiration. I think motivation is something which rather comes from outside. Inspiration is what comes from within. And it's very difficult to describe why it is happening and why it is not happening, and it's something very fragile. But that's what I felt throughout when I was in touch with Art of Living, be it as a volunteer or now as an employee. I felt inspired. I felt like glowing. And what I can see is that everybody feels a certain kind of ownership in Art of Living. Everybody feels, I am Art of Living, I am this project. And that's not something which I have seen in many corporations around. That feeling is mostly lost. People, not everybody says, okay, they used to feel that actually. I am the Daimler, for example. Everybody at Daimler, our car factory, felt that this is my company. This is lost. Today, most of the people work either for their career or for the next salary or, for the fame or whatever it is. So here in Art of Living, everybody has that full belongingness and ownership and the chance to express also, to be creative. People get their projects and have a great liberty and freedom to express themselves. That, and then one more point I think is that this frame of Art of Living gives us a chance to connect to maybe a bigger cause, that you're actually...
What cause? What is the bigger cause?
Bigger than just a profit, Let's coming back to the Daimler factory. Okay, some people might love cars, but many people there, the ultimate objective of a corporation, of course, is to create a profit. Now here, I think the mission statement is to create a stress-free, violence-free world, And that's a bigger cause, I would say. And I think that adds to that inspiration, that you're realizing, hey, I'm contributing to something which I feel meaningful.
And I mean, do you think there's a chance that do you think the work that all of you are doing is really going to achieve that?
I can say that
Really
for my personal growth, certainly it has added a lot. I'm very, very grateful. I'm not, the way I've walked through this life 15 years ago when I met the art of living, and today is entirely different. And I do hope that I was able to help other people to have the same experience along the path.
And for sure we achieve a lot. I mean, if you look at the different programs we are conducting, for example, 2006, the Silver Jubilee, that is an achievement, I would say. That is an achievement. So many people coming together, promoting human values. And here in Europe as well, we were talking about Yes We Can. If you are interested, you can read the experience of those youth who participated to this program. They are so happy about it, and really it has made a change in their life. So that is an achievement. We are participating in the European Parliament in Brussels. We are conducting some program as well, corporate culture and spirituality. So that is an achievement at many levels. I find the organization is very efficient, and we really touch people. We make a difference.
I think that's a very nice point. I would like to touch on what Camille is saying. You know, we are interacting with many institutions, the World Bank, the European Parliament, the UN, and many others, some of our partners. And I must say, it's interesting for me to come back with that observation that as a volunteer-based organization, with so many imperfections, yet we have one great quality. I think when it really counts, we are able to deliver in quite a fast pace, and also we are not using much resources to deliver our programs. So I do think that we have quite an impact on the ground. I think we can be with self-confidence that we can claim. Yeah.
And come back to your 10 years. I think in 10 years these 9,000 trees will be nicely blossomed. And hopefully they bear also fruits where people can feed from.
But how does that benefit you, Krishi? I mean, you've just got married, but you might end up having children. I mean, how are you going to look after your family if you're working in
That's news to me. He didn't tell me yet.
Actually, I was not planning on children. I think with the youth programs, I have enough children.
Back to this concept of human values that was mentioned earlier. What is that, and how does that link in with the organization as a whole and the mission?
You know, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, our founder, once went to the biggest prison in India. So he went to address a gathering of prisoners, and then one of them stood up and said, "You are responsible for me and for us being in the prison." How can you say that? So everybody was a little bit shaky and surprised. So he explained, he said, if I would have learned these techniques before committing my crime, I would have never done it. We would have never done what we did if we would have learned these techniques before our crime. So what I want to say is, our observation is really that we all have the same values, what I would call human values, that is love, compassion, friendliness, and even the sincere wish to care for others, the compassion. But sometimes it's covered by stress. And that's what prisoners usually say. They say, you know, when I did it, I was just so stressed. And if I look back at my own life, the last few actions which I regret, I did it because I was stressed. Because when I came out of the stress, I regret it, isn't it? So the key question maybe is, how can I more and more connect to these values? And then, of course, as an organization, maybe the question is, how can we create situation and help other people to connect to their values, assuming that if that is the case, we will naturally take a good action. That's our approach, you know, how we look at peace building. Of course, there's many more approaches. You have to work also on systems, but as an NGO, that's the part we can play. See, our approach is to help people to help themselves. So instead of giving water once, if you can help somebody to drill a well and, you know, get the water out of the soil, that's more sustainable. And of course, other organizations also have their unique approaches.
I think Haiti is a brilliant example for that. There was one faculty in US who traveled very often to Haiti, and then she took up the project after the big tsunami and floods, and so many people died and so much chaos, that she really took responsibility and implemented a YLTP, Youth Leadership Training Program. It's residential over 2 weeks, where really youth leaders from different backgrounds get together, and they afterwards will implement a 5H program. 5H program stands for health, harmony, diversity, human values, hygiene, and homes. So all these 5 they have been taken care of after the YLTP from the youth itself, and it's quite beautiful. I mean, to look into the work which has done in Haiti is really nice.
I was looking on the internet earlier, and I saw that apparently there are more young people interested in doing service work than there are volunteer positions available. Has that been your experience, or do you think that there's a lot more scope for people to come and help with this kind of work?
For example, when I go to Tunisia, there's one big manager who's every day 2 hours dedicating to do some service. It's really beautiful. So I think it has become a fashion, because everybody feels the need, hey, something we need to get back. We cannot just double our bank accounts and all that. It doesn't maybe give us the ultimate joy, but in giving, I think there's joy.
I think it's a trend even in the corporate world. What we observed, there's a paradigm shift. It used to be first that the number one criteria was making the shareholders happy, then it was customer satisfaction, and today the new paradigm is actually creating that feeling of volunteering within a corporate career. It's a new paradigm to keep your employees, and I think in our Western world, where we have all the material needs, the question for meaning and meaningfulness, of course, comes up more and more. Maybe less in the next few years if the economic crisis continues. Maybe then we will again see a more importance in having the material needs. But otherwise, I think that trend will continue. That we ask ourselves that question: what am I doing here? Why am I here? And then I think volunteering comes as a next step.
Yeah, if I ask myself the question, because I'm quite new into art of living, from my perspective, definitely no. There's so much to do, and it will never end.
And finally, could you all please share your wish and ambitions for yourself and for society before we sign off?
Yes, I wish for the planet, I wish that all children can go to school instead of looking for food in the slums. That is my wish, yes.
Thanks. Christoph?
My wish for myself is to live a good life, meaning good that it adds value to people, and for the young people in this world, that they smile and make others smile as well.
Thank you. Kirsten?
The wish for myself is that I will always live my life in passion and with enthusiasm, like right now. And the wish for the world and also other people is that they do the same, that they live their life with passion, they have their smile on their face and shine and blossom.
Thanks. Krishi?
I wish that the UN Millennium Development Goals will be achieved very soon, and that there will be more and more inspiration for more and more people to take care of these goals.
Thanks very much. I'm inspired, and that's all we have for now.